punishing America. That's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, Democrats want you to believe that they're resisting President Trump because they're fighting for the little guy.
No, I'm not going to just sit back while he's, literally turning this country into a dictatorial regime.
Literally. Does he know how he sounds? Well, Governor Porkchop, sorry, no one's buying it. Do not believe for one moment that liberals protesting ICE, resisting ICE, or simply trying to protect migrants, they don't care about the plight of illegals any more than they care about the plight of African Americans in the inner city. By the way, 14 people were shot over the weekend in Chicago, 4 dead from gunshots. They simply use illegals, and frankly, they use minorities for, political power. And in case of illegal aliens, they use them for cheap labor as well. In fact, in many ways, think about it, it's open season on law-abiding Americans, courtesy of the Democrat Party. Every illegal alien that they harbor with their sanctuary policies is a threat and a drain on resources. Now you add in criminal justice reforms, things like pretrial release with cashless bail like they have in Illinois, and you're playing with people's lives. This is exactly what happened in the case of Leiter Jefferson Aruz-Mendina from Nicaragua. He's accused of brutally raping a 54-year-old woman. According to DHS, he allegedly grabbed his victim by the hair, dragged her screaming across the street, forced her into an alleyway, threw her to the ground, strangled her, removed all of her clothes. The sounds of her screams were picked up by residents' private surveillance video. He repeatedly slammed the back of her head into the concrete, causing her to lose consciousness. Aruz-Mendina was released into the United States by the Biden administration and shielded from deportation by whom? Porkchop Pritzker. There are hundreds, even thousands of stories like this across the country in states and cities run by rabid open borders activists. To them, American victims, including women raped, children trafficked, they're just inconvenient collateral damage. The goal seems to be blood in the streets.
Don't forget where you're standing. This is South Central Los Angeles. They are not the only ones with guns in this city. They're not the only ones, and don't forget that. And I don't say that because we're calling for violence. I'm saying that because the people have every right to defend themselves against masked, unidentified gunmen with AR-15s and other military rifles. The people have every right to defend themselves. That's not violent, that's intelligent.
They're not the only ones with guns. That's the key phrase here. Think about it. They wish to take up arms. They want you to take up arms, threatening those who put their lives on the line to protect us every single day. Well, that makes all Americans less safe. They don't want illegals who break our laws punished. Activists and elected officials alike want the rest of us punished, especially law enforcement. Now, in this next clip, listen for the word bricks as a Union de Barrio thug brags about what they did in L.A. against ICE.
That's why they went to Chicago and other places, because here the people are organized and resistance was strong. They caught some bricks. Y'all remember Paramount? They caught those bricks. This is Los Angeles and this is South Central. The people will fight back.
Now, this is an open call for rebellion against federal law enforcement, which is being replicated across America. Yesterday in New York, liberals decided to try to stop an ICE raid in Chinatown. Again, these people are pretending to care about street vendors. Oh, they're just street vendors trying to make a living. But both the purses they were selling and the people selling them were illegal. The illegal aliens were selling counterfeit goods, which is a federal crime, and they all had rap sheets. It was only a few weeks ago that our friend Nick Shirley encountered one of these nasty entitled criminals when he was walking down Canal Street.
We don't do no camera.
Hey,
Out of here with that.
we can be here on the street. This is public street.
Yo, get the
We have
this our block, you ass.
you
Get
the block.
Yeah. So somebody spend this and take the camera away.
They act like they own the place, don't they? And why shouldn't they? For years, they've had the run of the streets. Even when arrested, they're quickly released to commit more crimes. They know this. Zero accountability. So why don't Democrats celebrate the arrest of criminals, right? They care about the little guy. Because their victims don't matter. Whether they're American businesses or citizens, the Democrats do not care. People like Gavin Newsom will never rush to a camera to warn illegal aliens to leave his state or else. But he'll always rush to a camera to warn our brave ICE agents.
I mean, if some guy jumped out of an unmarked car in a van with a mask on, tried to grab me, I mean, by definition, you're going to push back.
The words they're using, fight, push, resist, they're signaling very clearly that it's wartime. And Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson thinks he's a general.
There are cities across this country that are now creating ice-free zones, right? And so what we're doing is simply leading the only way Chicago knows how. Being on the front lines is something that we're very accustomed to, and it's going to take all of us to ensure that we dismantle tyranny in this country.
Johnson, dismantle tyranny. Ice-free zones are the answer. We're on the front lines. Okay, General. General idiot. Sure sounds like he's calling for an insurrection to me. And they're already promising their post-war tribunals.
When we win the majority and have the power to subpoena and have the power to get any document, have the ability to bring anyone forward to our committee, we are not just only going to hold Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller accountable for what they've done. Our message is clear. If you are out there and you are taking orders and committing these illegal actions, we are going to hold you accountable.
They're promising post-war tribunals. So they're now threatening ICE agents. What do they make, $100,000 a year if they're lucky, $80,000 a year if they're just starting? By the way, many of those ICE agents happen to be minorities themselves, Hispanics and African Americans. And what are they threatening, these Democrat officials? What are they threatening them with exactly? For violating what law? Carrying out legal orders in the execution of duly passed legislation that Congress passed? Legislation that, by the way, lays out very clearly who is and who is not a deportable alien. All those individuals on Canal Street are deportable aliens. And by the way, these activists, and then, of course, including politicians, threatening our ICE agents, impeding arrests, immigration raids, they all have to be charged and prosecuted before one American gets killed. The Democrats are desperate. They're lawless. But we are determined in defending law and order. And every time when you have good people in office, law and order will prevail. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.